I worked at Levi's for 23 years, just shy of 23 years, worked all the way up from, lowly entry level marketing assistant to chief marketing officer and then brand president, and was a beloved employee and was next in line ostensibly to become the first female CEO ever of the company. But in 2020, right at the beginning of lockdowns and school closures, I was very outspoken about the harms that would come to children from prolonged public school closures, as well as other restrictions like closed playgrounds. I just felt that children were bearing the brunt of these restrictions. They were least at risk and had the most to lose. And yet we seem to kind of load all of our societal anxiety onto them. I was told for 2 years while continuing to work at the company and getting promoted in the process, it's worth noting, that I needed to stop talking about these things, that I was upsetting employees, that these views that I held were racist. And, I was called all manner of names over the course of 2 years. I was pleaded with to stop. I declined politely to stop and continued to press. One of my peers who was challenging me to stop largely agreed with me on everything. She was the head of human resources, and she would even say to me, "Jen, you're right about all this stuff. You just can't say it." And I was like, okay, you just lit me on fire. I mean, that's ridiculous. No, I'm right. I am reading the data correctly, and I'm sort of factually and morally correct here. Yeah. So no, I'm not stopping. How dare you tell me I need to stop? But most people would rather stand with the crowd and sort of wrap themselves in the virtue of the crowd and the platform of the party than to question and stand up and do what's right and have to stand apart. And I think that it's especially true for women. I never sort of trusted the right to not be hypocritical, but then to realize that your own team that you were a part of, because you thought they believed in things like civil liberties, freedom of speech, I thought they cared about children, I thought they were anti-war, I thought they cared about protecting the little guy from corporate malfeasance. They don't care about any of those things. So pardon me if I'm more obsessed with the left's hypocrisy at the moment, but I am. But I do think most human beings have a sort of religious impulse. And if they reject traditional religion, they will find it elsewhere. And I do think it's very cult-like in its execution right now on the left, and I reject it outright. The woke religion seems to treat us more as kind of cogs in a wheel or inputs in a model. They seem related, the abandoning of religious values and the flocking to sort of woke values. I think it's pretty hard not to draw some connection to those two things.